Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, John. And hello, Lyons Playground. Stop number 4 on the 5-borough relay. We're almost there. I need some Gatorade. Thank you all. My name is Mitchell Silver. I'm the New York City Parks Commissioner. And today is a big day for parks, and it's a big day for New York City. We're so excited to be here. I want to thank the Lyons family for their continued support to the city, and we just are very thankful for the wonderful history about how this park was created and why it was named. So today we're opening 5 parks across New York City, 1 in each borough. That's $24 million in total park renovations, all in one day. These parks were among the first Community Parks Initiative sites, the first round of 35, and parks that hadn't seen meaningful renovations in almost 2 decades. So think about that. As parks throughout the city were being transformed, there were a lot of parks left behind, and this was one of them. That was 2 decades, which was way too long. We started the Community Parks Initiative because we believe all New Yorkers deserve a world-class park to call their own, regardless of where they live in this city. And we've made our way to the Boogie Down right here in Lyons Square. But first, I want to thank a few of our guests, of course, John Gallagher and the Lyons family and their descendants, and there are quite a few here. We're also joined by the sound we love to hear in our parks of kids playing and making noise, so that is a good sound. We also have one of our key partners in transforming a lot of our park spaces. From the Department of Environmental Protection, we have Managing Director of the Office of Eco Services, Green Infrastructure, and Research, John McLaughlin is here. Another key partner in activating our spaces from the City Parks Foundation, Executive Director Heather Lubov is also here. Your passionate and active local council member, Rafael Salamanca, also joined us. And although this is not his district, he now has the honor of chairing the Parks Committee for the entire New York City Council. Barry Grodenchik is also here, and a native of the Bronx, or your parents. He was born here. From the Community Board 2, we have Chair Bobby Crespo has joined us. Representing Assemblymember Crespo's office, we have Devon Harris is here with us. And from Breakaway Hoops, we have Sean Andreleus is here with us as well. This project would not have been possible without our partners here in government. And it wouldn't have been possible without this community. 3 years ago, we asked what you wanted to see in this park, and you came to our scoping sessions, you visited our website, you spoke to your council members, and you let us know what you wanted. We all know Lyons Square used to look a little, let's say, beat up and not well used. Its grades were multiple, and it was not easy to cross, so we knew it was time for a major upgrade. Well, we listened to you, and today we're bringing you what you all asked for, an all-new Lyons Square Playground. So we've updated the play equipment, we've added lighting, new basketball courts, and there's even a ping pong table here in this park. We've added, somebody likes ping pong. We've added all new spray shower for those hot summer days. And thanks to our friends at DEP, there's green infrastructure here, rain gardens, and state-of-the-art pavers to capture stormwater. You'll also notice the lower fences and more planting around the edge of the park to make it more welcoming and a more open design that we call Parks Without Borders. And there will be a fully renovated comfort station in behind you that will open up this summer. And this isn't the end of the involvement here at Lyons. A crucial part of the Community Parks Initiative is enhanced program. Urban Park Rangers, Kids in Motion, Shape Up free fitness classes have already served this neighborhood, and stay tuned for more programming to come. Lyons is also the City Parks Foundation catalyst site. That means that the City Parks Foundation and Partnership for Parks have focused on growing grassroots, community-led leadership to support this park now and into the future. So Heather, thank you for your team for doing that outstanding work. I also want to acknowledge a few of our leaders that are here. We have, of course, the Borough Commissioner of the Bronx, Iris Rodriguez-Rosa. Deputy Commissioner Dina Long, I know she was making around. There she is. She made it to another site. And Sam Biederman, our Assistant Commissioner for Communications. So I'm excited. We are not just the Department of Parks and Recreation. We're also the Department of Fun, Health, and Happiness. And we want that fun, health, and happiness to happen right here in Lyons Square Playground. So I want to thank you all, but before we cut the ribbon and move on to Harlem, we want to briefly hear from a few of our special guests. First, I'll bring up the DEP's John McLaughlin.
Thank you, Commissioner. Feels a little warmer in the Bronx than it did in Brooklyn, but I could be numb. Maybe that's it. No, but thank you very much. No, DEP is proud to be a partner with the Parks Department on the Community Parks Initiative with respect to stormwater capture. You know, beneath you is about $600,000 worth of green infrastructure that's capturing stormwater from the site. DEP has committed $50 million to the CPI effort for all the sites in the program to capture stormwater. So we're very pleased to work with them. So it's a very sustainable practice to this to this park, and I can tell you it was a great transformation from what this park used to look like. Just when I got here, I mentioned to folks that where we're standing is probably 4 or 5 feet higher than the original grade. This was a very deep pit, but very happy to partner with them, and just want to give a few shout outs to some parks personnel, Lindsay Cortini, who is, that's my counterpart. We're working through the whole CPI effort, and a staff member of mine, Teddy Giberarium, who was also heavily involved in the engineering aspects in coming up with the green infrastructure. So thank you very much, and Commissioner, you should be very proud.
Before I bring up the council member, there's so many parkies here, from capital to help design a space, to operations to help maintain a space, programs to bring the fun to this space, partnership to do the outreach, so many parkies. Please give them all a round of applause for helping to care for our parks. Now, as I said, someone who I've got to know and really adore, who cares deeply about parks in this district, your council member, Rafael Salamanca.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is cold, but it is a fun day. It is a beautiful day. I am excited to be here today. I am excited to know that we are finally opening up Lyons Playground. Let me give you a little bit of history on this. Before I was a council member, I was a district manager of Bronx Community Board 2. And in 2014, Commissioner Silver, when he came in with this plan on rebuilding parks for communities that there have been a disinvestment for decades and decades and decades. And as part of this plan, there were 5 parks in Bronx Community Board 2 that will be redone. And one of those parks is this very own park, Lyons Playground. We're talking about a park that has been ignored for years. I grew up in this community. I grew up 2 blocks from here. I utilized this park here to play basketball. My dad used to take me to that school there during the summer when there was no car so I can ride my roller skates. So to see the changes that's happening as I've grown and stayed in this community is really awesome. But what's even most important is the way that Parks Department listened to the needs of the community. When they came with a plan, and we said, we want to move your plan around. We want to ensure that this park fits the needs of everyone in this community, from seniors and adults to teenagers to young kids. And if you see the layout of the park, you have your exercise equipment on that side of the park. You have your basketball courts, which, by the way, have fiberglass backboards, which you don't see, and nets that you don't see everywhere. And finally, behind us, you see the space for our young children. So, Commissioner, I thank you for listening to our needs. But that was not enough. We said, Commissioner, we need a comfort station. Unfortunately, we need to use a bathroom when we're in these parks, and we don't want to have to go and squat or use a tree. So we said, we need a comfort station. And he said, Salamanca, that's going to cost another $2.5 million. And we said, Commissioner, you have to find the money for that. And he came back and he found $2.5 million to add to this park. We also had concerns about lighting and security. And we said, Commissioner, there's issues in terms of security. We want to improve safety. So he said, we'll come back and we'll add surveillance cameras. They're not working yet, but they'll be working soon. So total investment in this park in the South Bronx, $7 million. Commissioner, thank you and your team for everything that you're doing. God bless.
We enjoy working with our local partners. Now I'd like to bring up from Community Board 2, the Chair, Bobby Crespo.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to try to make this real short because my back is, I just came out of an operation. But I also went to that school for my beginning years in school. And I lived 3 blocks down on Bryant Avenue. And he's right, 2 decades ago, when I was 40 years old, I walked by here and I said, God, something has to happen with this park. And finally, 3 years ago, a team came in from Parks Department. We gave them hell. That's the job of the community board, give you guys hell. But it was a hell that now we can see the seeds that we planted 3 years ago and what's come out of it now. And as the councilman stated, we wanted a whole bunch of other things. Unfortunately, it's not here, but we're not going to stop knocking on the door. We're going to keep knocking on the door. And to the Lyons family, it's great that we have you here representing the name Lyons. I think it was your great-grandfather, right? He was part of this community. He grew up in this community, and it's great. It's great. This community is changing, and I'm glad to be at that time the first vice chairman and now chair of the community board. But it's great that I have a councilman that works so hard for this community, a councilman that not only thinks about the housing or making sure that the precinct's responding to the crime stats, but to make sure that Parks is listening to us with our Parks needs. Our kids need someplace safe to go to. Those cameras will be the point of safety in these parks. So I want to say thank you to the commissioner, thank you to our councilman, and especially to Iris, who's always saying yes. She says, I don't know how I'm going to do it, Bobby, but I'll try and see how I'm going to get the money. So I want to thank everybody, and especially the Parks Department. Thank you.
Mr. Crespo, you didn't give us hell. It was just intense love. So we'll take that. Now someone we're very excited to bring up to the podium. He now has the distinction of being the chair of the Parks Committee for the City Council, Council Member Barry Grodenchik.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's good to be in the land of my birth. All great Queens residents have roots in the Bronx, including my parents and our former great borough president, the late great Helen Marshall, who also grew up in this community on Washington Avenue. Iris, it's always a pleasure to see her. It's always a pleasure to be with her and to be with you, Commissioner. Salamanca, you paying attention here? Good, because tomorrow I'm going to ask you about this speech I'm giving. This is my second public appearance as the chair of the Parks Committee, and both of them have been in the borough of the Bronx, and maybe that's fitting because it's the land of my birth. But I was with Commissioner Silva when I worked for Borough President Melinda Katz in Queens, when Mayor de Blasio and the Commissioner announced the Community Parks Initiative in October of 2014. And so we are seeing the fruits of that labor. For too long, too many parks in the city of New York have been neglected. I'm here to say on behalf of myself, Councilman Salamanca, our Speaker, Corey Johnson, that as far as we're concerned, and to the best of our ability, working with the Commissioner and his great team, no park in this city is going to be neglected. We are going to take care, God willing, of every single park. So that's a big order that we have. But I'm a kid from New York City, and parks have shaped my life, and I know how important it is to the people of this community. So I'm happy to be with you today, and I'm happy to be with my colleague, the great Rafael Salamanca, who just so happens to be what's that committee, Land Use Committee? He's just so happened to chair perhaps the most important committee in the New York City Council. It's a pleasure to work with him every day. Thank you and God bless.
As I mentioned, Lyons Square Playground is a catalyst site, and we're so delighted that we now have to bring to the podium the Executive Director of the City Parks Foundation, our key partner, Heather Lubov.
Thank you, Commissioner, and hello, everyone. I'm here representing City Parks Foundation, which you may or may not know is a nonprofit organization that uses arts, sports, education, and community building programs to bring people into parks. And we do that for a very simple reason, because we believe that thriving, active parks are essential to communities. I'm here today because City Parks Foundation is a proud partner with the Parks Department on the Partnerships for Parks program, which is a community building effort that supports local volunteers who care and advocate on behalf of their parks. Partnerships was instrumental in the Community Parks Initiative, encouraging neighbors to participate in planning meetings to make sure that local voices are heard. And that important work continues as parks reopen after renovation. Parks belong to their communities, so the Partnerships team makes sure that local residents have the tools and resources they need to remain active in their parks. I'm here today at Lyons Square to recognize the Partnerships for Parks intensive outreach initiative called Catalyst. The Lyons Square community has shown a deep passion for this park. Community members told us that they want to see youth mentorship programs on the basketball courts, more planting and horticulture around the park, and a safe and clean park with a regular and positive community presence. Through Catalyst, we have assigned a staff person to work with residents for 1 to 2 years to connect them with the resources, the businesses, and the organizations that will help them achieve these goals. You, the Lyons Square community, have inspired us with your passion and your dedication to making your neighborhood a safe and beautiful place. Diami, Ted, Linda, and Sabina, and the entire Partnerships team looks forward to working with you as you realize your vision. Thank you.
So that brings our program to a close. We're about to cut the ribbon on this wonderful, warm first day of spring. It's better than tomorrow. So now we're going to cut the ribbon. I want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you for your support. And then if anybody wants to join us, we're on to the last side of relay, Harlem.